seems like people are scared to kind of admit the truth about Ronaldo. And what it boils down to, sometimes you have to do it yourself as a player. You know when you're not achieving what you want to achieve, and he's still chasing, in my opinion, personal glory when the glory should be about the team. And that glory, and he took that glory away from that team by walking down a tunnel 3 minutes before the end of normal time. For him to want to take the shine away from that and those players, those people who he shares a changing room with on average five times a week on average, it's totally wrong. Totally wrong. And I don't think if anybody's a football person and a Manchester United fan, they'll be disappointed with him. They won't be talking about he's been disrespected, because no one's got the right to demand a regular place in a football team. When you're on the bench, doesn't matter what your history says, you haven't got the right to demand that you go on. So he had no right to do what he'd done there. If you're playing, if you was one of those players and you're getting, all of a sudden the crowd are enjoying themselves, and all of a sudden you hear the mood change in those last few minutes, and you look and you see him walking down the tunnel, you're not going to be happy as a teammate. They will never ever say that publicly, but they will be disappointed in what he's gone and done, and that is him distancing himself from them. I don't think January can come quicker for him or the club itself, really. He should be apologising. If they're all in this morning, he should be apologising to them without a shadow of a doubt. You just can't do that. Some people will criticise me for saying that because I've gone against. They'd see me as going against a great Ronaldo, but I'm not going against him. I'm going against his actions, of the fact that he's let the club, but more importantly, he's let his teammates down, and he has disrespected his manager. He hasn't done himself any justice when he has played. I think he's got to go back to basics and doing what he's good at, and that is showing energy, playing and moving rather than overplaying. He should be his own person when he plays, and then he might be given more time to prove himself than where he is at the moment, because at the moment in time, there is an opportunity for someone to play in a wide position, someone to do a job, if they can do it consistently and obviously do it right as well. And he's got an opportunity to go and grab that. Luke Shaw's come in and he's grabbed it, he's sat down and he's watched, he's realised his problems, his issues, he's dealing with at the moment. He's never going to be the smartest footballer you ever seen on a football pitch in a Manchester United shirt, but he's doing his job right. Luke's biggest problem has always been Luke, because when he gets in that position, he gets there, I think he sits back and he suddenly thinks, there we are, I've done it. When all of a sudden you can have a look at him, you can look at him as a person, you can look at his body shape, and it tells you that all of a sudden he's back in that zone again. He's in that comfort zone. And all of a sudden it shows in his game, because he comes out and he's lazy and he's defending, doesn't want to track back. He'd rather balk people rather than chase them back, getting stupid bookings through laziness. So if he can avoid doing that and keep reminding himself that there's someone who's ready to come in, then you might get some kind of consistency out of him for club and country. I'm a fan of Fred's. Majority of people want to knock him, but I've always said if you get Fred doing what he's good at, rather than making it too difficult for him by asking him to do things he's not good at, then you've got yourself a decent player, and you're not going to get many quicker across the grass than him, and closing people down, getting close to people, getting their head down so they can't see the passes when they have time on the ball. Doesn't give away that many fouls. And he worked absolutely perfect with Casemiro in there. Christian Eriksen is your go-to guy, I think. Being away from home, he mostly will be the go-to guy. So that's what a squad's about, really. Just seeing a situation and using it, and maybe the fact of Ericsson just coming back, he felt it was wiser just stick with Fred in there, and it worked really well. But there's no guarantees it can work in the next game at Stamford Bridge. Not in the current format. I wouldn't know. Harry Kane totally overdoes the linking play. I think anyone who watched the game last night, Harry Kane's on the halfway line, he's out on the touch line. Don't know, he's a centre forward. What's he doing? You ask Gary Lineker where he'd want to be. You ask Michael Owen where he'd want to be. You ask Wayne Rooney where he would want to be. Then they'll answer the question. But there could be anybody out there. There's centre forwards being pulled from everywhere, and it's about getting them into your team and then working them into a system to play. The one thing they've got to have high energy. Got to be able to run in behind.